Hi everybody, welcome to another live stream. I'm testing. I'm not 100% prolific in live streaming. I'm checking. There's nobody online as yet. That's myself talking to myself. But anyway, today's live stream topic is about somebody's online. Hi. Today's live stream topic is about the whole feeder fish saga. All right, so a lot of persons are of the opinion that feeder fish is bad and feeder fish is good. I'm just going to be spending a few minutes speaking about feeder fish saga, and we can discuss it. From there. All right. If you're not hearing me, you can let me know. Okay, what is feeder fish? We start with feeder fish. Okay, feeder fish is where you actually use small fish to actually feed a larger fish, right? Usually you get feeder fish from the LFS store, or you get feeder fish from uh, your backyard or rivers or stream, right? And there are advantages and disadvantages of feeder fish. So I'm just going to be looking at feeder fish scenario, probably about two or three on each end. So let's look at the one advantage of feeder fish. Now your fish comes from the wild, and because your fish come from the wild, what happened is that your fish is usually used to consuming food wherein it had to be chasing. The thing about it is that most of the fish within the aquarium in which you keep, right, are fish that are bred, domesticated, domesticatedly bred. That means they are never from the wild. They were bred at home or within a special environment wherein it's from birth they have been fed uh different type of feed. All right, meaning flakes or any feed, so to speak. All right, what's up, tropical fish craze? Raleigh here. I'm talking about the whole idea of feeder fish, right? Now, feeder fish can include like minnows, guppies, swordtail, molly. It depends on the size of your fish. Some persons even use goldfish as a feeder fish, right? Now, when you purchase that feeder fish from the LFS store or the pet shop, right? What happened is that the persons who are actually breeding these feeder fish are cognizant of the fact that these fish are not primarily to be kept in aquariums. And because they are bred as feeder fish, what will happen is that these feeder fish are not taken care of properly. They are not medicated. They are not reared in the manner in which you would normally keep your fish, right? So they tend to have a lot of disease. They tend to have a little issues with regards to their health. Well, more than one issues regarding their health, right? So feeder fish, you have to be very careful. Now, with regard to me, right? At one point in time, I usually breed my guppies primarily to feed my larger fish, such as my jack dempsey and my oscars. Right now, I usually do it because of the advantage in which feeder fish have for large fish such as these. Okay, remember I am looking at the advantages and disadvantages of using feeder fish, right? So whenever these fish do get feeder fish in their ponds, right? Yeah, that's true. Tropical fish craze. Whenever these fish do get feeder fish, it helps them in three ways. And let me explain the three ways. One, it gives them a full tummy. Two, it gives them protein. And three, it helps them to exercise. Now, one feeder fish probably can feed one of my large Jack Dempsey for the entire day, right? I'm coming to that liberty cichlid, right? One feeder fish can feed one probably can feed one fish for the day. However, fish are greedy, so fish will just consume, and probably might end up get sick. But I am what's up New York Gold, my first live stream, real live stream, right? I'm trying. Okay, so we're talking about feeder fish, the whole idea of feeder fish and why some persons use it, why some persons don't use it, right? I am looking at both and vice versa. Now, I just spoke to you regards the advantage of feeder fish. It gives three advantages: give them a protein intake, it helps them to exercise, and it give them a belly full. Yeah, the fish hungry, fish need to eat, right? And also the fish needs now to maintain its protein, because protein gives it energy so that it can actually live throughout the rest of the time being until it's fed again. All right, the fish needs exercise, because if the fish is there in the aquarium or pond sitting there very lazy, not moving, what will happen is that the fish will get lethargic, lazy, fat, and actually die of sickness, right? So you need something to get that fish to run up and down, move. All right, good. So you look at advantage there, right? Okay, so let's look at a disadvantage in feeding feeder fish. I'm not going to be staying long at this one, right? Let's look at the disadvantages of feeder fish. One, as I said before at the beginning, feeder fish comes from areas that might not be taking care of these fish, because these fish are primarily bred for as feeder fish, right? So what will happen is that these feeder fish carries with it a lot of disease like ick and several other parasites, in which when your fish actually consume, right? Yes, New York Gold disease, right? It will actually infect your fish, and your fish will eventually die, right? Probably not at the same time, but it will die because of the feeder fish um addition, right? So that is a disadvantage to feeder fish. Another disadvantage to feeder fish is that feeder fish to some, well, not really disadvantage, but feeder fish to some seems cruel. Seems as if you're actually watching. It's like back in the days when the Romans usually put two persons in a ring and they would fight to the death, right? It kind of brings up that scenario as I talk about the feeder fish situation, right? Okay. Point to note is that in the wild, these fish might be looking for a feeder fish, while they themselves end up becoming a feeder fish. If you look at right, man versus lion, if you look, however, at how the Oscar lives in the Amazon River, the Oscar live in some murky water along with the discus, and they would sit there for hours, if not days, waiting on something to pass in which they can consume. But when we get these fish and we domesticate them, what happen is that these fish become so accustomed to the man-made food that they will probably decline the whole idea of consuming uh live food. Well, I have to be careful when I say live food, because live food can be very good food, and live food can be separated from feeder fish, because live food can mean brine shrimp, uh two reflex worms, uh the different type of worm. You have the black worm, you have the red worm, you have the daphne, you have different type of stuff in which you can feed the fish that is live. All right, and you even have mosquito larvae, right? But back to the feeder fish scenario, right? Feeder fish, my disadvantage I'm looking at. Yeah, earthworms, right? Good. Feeder fish not only carry disease, but it carry fat on it that is not easily digested by the fish that is actually consuming it. It's just like, you know, I don't know how many persons actually practice this, but it's like you're frying some chicken and you would, some persons do while some persons don't. You will actually take the skin off the chicken before you fry it, because frying the chicken, frying the chicken with the fat, they say that it gives high cholesterol and it is bad for your heart, and it might clog up your arteries and you might end up get sick, right? Okay, cool. Feeder fish also have feeder fish also have fat that is not easily digestible. As a result of that, some fish becomes very sick. It doesn't have any disease. The fish doesn't run to give it much exercise, because the fish is docile based on how it has been kept. So you find that the fish actually become fat and become more fat, because the fish that is in the feeder fish, the fat that is in the feeder fish, sorry, is not healthy. On the other hand, yeah, feeder fish are normally fed, not all good. However, remember I said before that I normally feed my Jack Dempsey and my Oscar guppies and those fish. Okay, a point to note: if you actually grow your own feeder fish, there's nothing wrong with that, because now you can actually take care of that fish as to how you want to take care of it. Ensure that the fish is not too much, not too little. The fat is there, but it is not, it's not that bad fat in which it will damage the arteries of the fish. You have to consider your fish as humans, as just as how humans would not want to become overweight. Your fish should not be overweight, right? So you can actually keep your own feeder fish. However, coming back to the feeder fish scenario, be mindful that whenever you're actually feeding your fish, have you ever actually looked at the ingredients that is used to make your man-made food? The ingredients that are used to make your man-made food are usually cuttings of a fish like probably dried fish, dead fish, or like I went to the fish market recently and I see them like cleaning out the fish and putting different parts all place. Yes, they actually use all of that. They process them, right? Get them dry and process them and put them in the machine. It's just like you'll be making. It's just like you'll be making minced meat, right? And you're at the slaughterhouse and you're gonna be making some mince to put in your bully beef, right? And you get some pork, you get some goat, you get some cow, and put them through the machine, grind up to make mince ball, and then you package them and say that this is mince, right? So when you talk about the whole idea of of fish food, the flakes and the pellets, they too are made from fish that have died, in which they are processing. Yeah. So therefore, as I talk about the whole idea of fish bringing disease to your aquarium and pond, right? The number one thing that you should know when purchasing your feed for your fish is that wherever you're purchasing the feed from is of reputable standard, right? You can actually see the address of the manufacturer where the manufacturer actually live, should I say, where the manufacturer actually, process the food, right? So if anything, you can check up on that manufacturer because sometimes they use fish that is not considered healthy to make other food. You get what I'm saying? All right. So in talking about the whole idea of feeder fish, it's a very complicated story, right? And many of the times, I don't know if anybody have actually experienced this, but I have, wherein it's I'm breeding guppies and swordtail and mollies, right? And I realize that some of my fish, my baby fish, even my goldfish, have crooked spines. And because my fish have crooked spines, I believe that that is really not a good way to survive. So what I might do, I might take those fish that is not, looking all that good, and I might actually place them into a pond where they might get eaten by the larger fish, right? Probably you might say that that is cruel, but to me, it's more cruel when you have a bent spine, or you have one eye, or you have no eye, and you're in the pond or in the aquarium, just for days, not being able to move, and you might the fish might end up starved to death. What you think? I've been talking a lot. What you think about feeder fish saga? Anyone? Is there anybody who disagree with anything that I have actually shared with you a while ago regarding feeder fish? I guess not, right? Because NY Gold was saying that he understand the whole dynamics of the feeder fish thing, and that he believed that feeder fish is just packed with disease waiting to spread it. Right. Right. So therefore you just put it into a pond that other fish eat it, don't it? Don't it? No, no, not good. Right? You wouldn't breed it, you wouldn't keep it. I know that a lot of persons are nature lovers, are environmentalists who just find it hard to, cull their fish stock whenever the fish is not really as how it should be, right? But when you look at the whole idea of that fish is going to be living like that for the rest of his its life, yeah, it's more than just what you believe. It's more like humane, right? Yeah. And the other day I did a video with regards to how do you treat your dead fish, right? Some persons laugh. Some persons say that they would never ever give their dead fish to their pets, or they would never give their dead fish. They would never consume their dead fish, right? Uh it- that I would not do. But some persons would. You find a dead guppy, you know that dead guppy, female guppy, it is not disease, but it's just as a result of stress. The male is running it down, and it just died. Probably some persons might up to throw it into a pond where some fish might consume it. But instead of the fish consuming it, I would prefer to give it to the snails because the snails eat dead carcass within the pond. Right? Right. Breeding goldfish, yeah, you call it. But some persons, New York Gold, don't believe in the whole idea of culling fish. I guess these persons who don't believe in the whole idea of culling fish are those persons who just have a one fish tank and they are just in the fish keeping hobby for aesthetic beauty within their environment. They are not in it like they are actually, uh in it for breeding for profit, or in it for, the whole idea of getting a lot and keeping a lot for fun, right? But for me, I would breed a lot of fish. I would breed a lot of fish. And when I feel as if I can't manage anymore, that then they are getting too much, right? I will up to sell some, and then I would start, like, I would have my set of breeders. Right? When I can't manage no more, I will sell some, and periodically I will sell the breeders, because if you did not know, when you have uh let's say you have some guppies, and the guppies are always breeding every 28 days, push up baby, right? After a while that guppy is gonna die, right? Yes, New York girl, we all have our belief, right? I typically don't feed a dead fish to another fish because I don't know why it died. Well, I remember one time I was purchasing fish from a pet shop, and a breeder said to me that I should cut the fish open and check it to see if there's any tumor, or probably if any parasites in it. Therefore, I can treat the other fishes at home. And I said that no man, that ain't what I did, man. I prefer to go home and salt the whole pan and probably give it some general meds, and then now we see where we end up from there, because knowing me, I rotate my fish very regularly, right? So therefore, I wouldn't want anything to contaminate my ponds or my aquariums, whichever I'm rotating them in, right? And I rotate them based on for several reasons: one, for fighting; two, for time out; three, for breeding; and four, because I just want to see them in my room or in my house, right? So I might just rotate these fish for several reasons, right? With regards to feeder fish is, I don't call my fish, my flower horn does. Yeah, flower horn call your fish. That's nice. That's nice. But the funny thing about it is that over the years in which I've actually been breeding fish, I've never come to the occasion where in which I have to call, let's say, my Jack Dempsey spawn, nor my convict spawn. They always just work out, or should I say hatch out to be good fish, right? And presently I have about 200 convicts and about probably 75 baby Jack Dempsey, and then about 50 adult size, which I know I'm gonna have to sell them soon, because they are like big, like probably about like my hand, right? Yeah, but my hand. I think I showed some of you that I did a video on something like that, a bit, right? In a bit. I mean, pass, right? Okay, so as far as feeder fish is concerned, many persons up to no, to dead fish. Okay, okay. Um, but question. Although you kind of getting me off tangent here, guys. Do you eat fish at home? Do you eat fish? I mean, like dinner fish. Like you go to the market and you get the fish and you eat the fish, prepare it and you consume it. Okay, cool. Were you there when the fisherman actually caught it and ensure that it was healthy and it was alive before he actually placed it in that section? So, to some extent, to some extent, you can't be too 100% sure as to what kind of fish you're eating. Yeah, yeah, I know everybody eat dead fish, but at what point in time was that fish actually dead? Live fish, right? You can't eat live fish. Not even not even other fish eat live fish, right? They actually suffocate them first and then they swallow them, right? You usually catch it. So all the fish that you have consumed in your lifetime, New York Gold, you actually caught it and ate it. You never ate a slice of pink salmon at a restaurant before. Neither have you gotten one of those big fish at one of those fancy restaurant places. Huh? Right. So the thing is that everything that we say that we do some of the time is just by chance. It happened all way because we don't know if uh that fish was dynamite. One, yes, I know that's a dangerous way of catching fish. One, right? You don't know if that fish was like that fish actually consumed something which actually had it going belly up, or you don't know if that fish was dead before the fisherman get there. So it's I know it's a playful question, but what I'm trying to say is that um people do it because they don't want to waste anything in nature, right? People do it. The dead fish scenario though is a very serious scenario in which we should pay special attention to, as many persons do breed or do keep large fish, and in their mind, in their psyche, all large fish requires feeder fish. I don't agree with that, right? I don't agree with the fact that all large fish requires feeder fish, because I believe, as I said before, a lot of these feeds that are being sold at the LFS store or the pet shop, right, are packed with cuttings from fish, whether it be sea fish or processed fish, that is in all that with additional ingredients so as to allow the fish to be healthy. Craft beer pours, are you there still? You have left. Okay, so we're talking about feeder fish, whether or not feeder fish is an appropriate way of feeding your fish stock. Right? For me, I have devised a new strategy in feeding my fish. My fish actually exist outside in the yard. So therefore, feeding my fish religiously every day is like not really me. Feeding my fish, I've actually started to feed my fish every other day because there are things in the water that will help my fish to grow naturally, right? And whether I want this or no, you have insects in the water. Unless you really change your aquarium water every single day, and your aquarium, where in which your aquariums are, it is so sealed tight that no insects actually go near the water, you will find that insects do pass by now and then. For example, mosquitoes and some other little thing that slides on the top of the water. They like water, right? So these fish do that. Now, as I have about 1 minute 20 seconds here. I'm not going more than half an hour today. Now, as I kind of wrap up my second live stream, right? I just want you to understand the purpose of this discussion. Feed the fish, depending on which angle you actually argue from, feed the fish can be good, while feed the fish can be bad, right? It all has to do with your perspective as to the direction in which you're going to do your fish keeping, right? If you have a large fish stock pool and you want your fish and you're in the whole idea of breeding for selling, some persons are of the opinion that when you use feeder fish, your fish grow much faster. So therefore, the problems that these feeder fish may have on the fish in the long run, such as high cholesterol level, such as illnesses, right, will not be their concern because those large fish will be sold in the future. And this is Raleigh here. Thank you for watching. I hope that this little discussion was of paramount interest to you. Join me again, probably Friday or Thursday, for another live stream. I appreciate you watching. Bye bye for now. See you next time. Thank you, New York World. I appreciate it. Yes, yes, that's true. That's true. That's true. Thank you guys for joining me on my live stream. I appreciate it. I'm kind of getting there. Probably the quality not really 100%, but because I'm inside, the camera how I swear whenever I'm inside, it just doesn't really focus properly. All right, guys. Bye bye. See you next time. Cool.